coming up, the latest on that Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting. Trump is demanding immunity and wants the Supreme Court to step in. And new COVID rules have now been approved by the CDC. That's all coming up on The Rundown.
It's a bit chilly out today with a slight breeze going on, and it should be around the 40s all weekend with a possible slight chance of snow on Saturday. Stay tuned for the weather for this week's Rundown.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly, and you can too. Share your heart, share your love. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Welcome to The Rundown. I'm Allison Cassidy.
And I'm Abigail Twyford. A shooting at a Super Bowl parade in Kansas City has left 1 dead and 23 injured. The victim, 43-year-old Lisa Lopez Galvin, was a mother of 2 who worked at a local radio station and as an event DJ. Galvin co-hosted a radio program called Taste of Tejano. Kansas City police say that the shooting appeared to stem from a dispute between several individuals that escalated to violence. Police Chief Stacey Graves says that the preliminary investigation has not turned up any evidence of terrorism or violent extremism.
Former President Donald Trump is asking the Supreme Court to further delay his trial for election interference, arguing that he's immune from the prosecution on the charges that he attempted to overturn the 2020 election. Trump's lawyers filed an emergency appeal on Monday that will keep the landmark criminal trial on hold. This comes just 4 days after the justices heard arguments in separate cases involving his eligibility for placement on the presidential ballot in Colorado. The court's decision on the appeal could determine whether or not the former president faces trial before the November election. Special counsel Jack Smith's team has urged to push back the trial to take place this year. 2 Israeli hostages were rescued from Hamas control after Israeli military released airstrikes, killing roughly 100 people in Gaza. 70-year-old Luis Har and 60-year-old Fernando Simon Marman were found in stable condition as Israeli special forces raided a building being guarded by Hamas militants. The 2 hostages have since been reunited with their families.
Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip has killed more than 28,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry, run by Hamas. Tonight, we have the story of a badly wounded little boy from Gaza who found compassion and much-needed care here in the U.S. Jerica Duncan has our exclusive report, and we warn you, some of the images are graphic.
At New York's JFK Airport, Elisa Montanti waits patiently for this flight coming in from Cairo. Montanti cut through red tape to get 5-year-old Omar Abuquake to the U.S., a frightened little boy in desperate need of medical care. Omar's aunt says his parents, brother, sister, and grandparents were all killed by an Israeli airstrike on their Gaza home in December. He suffered severe injuries, including leg wounds and the amputation of his left arm.
I'll get it.
At his temporary home, run by Montanti's charity, the Global Medical Relief Fund, Omar experienced snow for the first time.
I love it.
This is the first time she sees him smiling.
Oh.
And a bunk bed.
These are innocent children
that have absolutely no resources or very, very little. And the 60 countries we have helped are all of these children from war-torn and natural disasters.
She's partnered with Shriners Children's in Philadelphia.
So his left arm was the one that was amputated.
Omar's injuries were evaluated by Dr. Scott Cozen.
The fact that Omar was able to be brought here is good for Omar, and it's good for his outlook. If he stayed in Gaza or stayed in Egypt, who knows? I don't know what would have happened.
We were in the operating room as Dr. Cozen performed surgery.
So we want to get rid of all this bad scar and replace it with normal skin graft.
To repair the wound on Omar's leg. Doctors also begin the process of fitting Omar for a prosthetic arm. His recovery is expected to take several weeks. After that, he'll return to a tent camp in Gaza with his aunt. But far from the reality of war, Omar visited the Staten Island Children's Museum. A momentary escape.
Whoa, look at you.
Where he could be a child once again. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
A woman opened fire at a Lakewood church in Houston this Sunday, leaving 2 injured, including the woman's son. At 1:55 p.m., 36-year-old suspect Janice Yvonne Moreno entered the home of celebrity pastor Joel Osteen's house of prayer with her 7-year-old son and an AR-15. 2 off-duty officers were fired back, killing Moreno and injuring her son. He is currently in critical condition, and she was pronounced dead at 2:07 p.m. It is suspected that the shooting was prompted by a familial issue dispute with a Jewish ex-husband. The gun allegedly had a Palestine sticker on it. The shooting occurred promptly before the church's 2 o'clock Spanish language service was set to begin. Some Jersey Shore beach badge prices are being announced for summer 2024. Most NJ beaches towns require passes to enjoy a day at the beach. Prices often range from $3.50 for a day pass and $150 for a seasonal pass to use all summer long. With Memorial Day weekend only 15 weeks away, it may be time to start thinking about purchasing your badges. Some have yet to announce the prices, but so far the highest daily badge will cost $13 at Seaside Heights. Most beaches have often offered a free entry for veterans, children, and senior citizens. Atlantic City, Corson's Inlet State Park, Island Beach State Park, North Wildwood, and Sandy Hook will remain for free entry.
Up next, the CDC's changing guidance on COVID isolation policies.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchool.com.
The United States CDC is set to scrap its 5-day COVID isolation guidelines. If approved, people with improving symptoms would no longer have to stay in their homes, as long as they have been fever-free for 24 hours. At this time, the government has not signed off on these new rules. This could be the first time these guidelines have been updated since December 2021. An explosion inside a Philadelphia apartment leaves 1 injured. The building was evacuated in a timely manner at 12:30 a.m. on Monday. Responders at the scene were seen on site for several hours. At this time, authorities have declined to provide more information on the injured person.
A shooting at a New York City subway in the Bronx leaves 1 dead and 5 injured. The victims have all been taken to local hospitals. NYPD Chief of Transit Michael M. Kemper claims the shooting was not random and started after a dispute between 2 groups. The police are seeking 2 individuals who are believed to have been associated with the shooting. And now, Brynn Wilson is here to talk about the controversy surrounding the new movie Wicked. So, who's starring in the new movie?
So Ariana Grande is going to be playing Glinda, and Cynthia Erivo is going to be playing Alphaba. But many people within the theater community are upset given that the pop star's vocal background is not in Broadway theater. They're a little worried that the original Broadway sound is going to be masked by this new pop sensation that's happening.
I've heard a lot of controversy about Broadway shows becoming movies. Do you think it will create the same reaction as recent movies?
I mean, right now it is a little difficult to tell given that the movie was just announced a couple of days ago. But for example, when the Mean Girls movie came out, viewers who know the Broadway show were very upset with how these songs had sounded. And given that in this new Wicked movie there is going to be new music, people are up in arms and they have taken it to social media.
And have you seen any of that backlash on social media?
Yes, so much like the Mean Girls movie, people were worried about the quality of this Broadway production getting put into a movie production. They're worried that it's going to be masked almost about how beautiful Broadway production is. So people went to social media. In today's day and age, it's not too challenging to see people expressing their emotions.
And when can we expect this movie to be released?
So I'm very glad that you asked that. The movie is coming out in 2 parts. So the first one is slated to come out in the holiday season of December of this year. And the second part is currently a mystery. No one really knows when it's going to come out except for the director and the crew.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bryn.
Thank you.
Usher's Super Bowl performance left many viewers saying, yeah, because of the nostalgic hits. The 13-minute performance featured Usher's signature dance moves, an array of flashy costumes, acrobatic and roller skate performers, and guest performances from Alicia Keys and Her. Lil Jon, will.i.am, and Ludacris came out for the final song, a live rendition of Yeah that was performed over the cheers of thousands.
Pickleball's popularity has skyrocketed, and so have injuries. According to a report, bone fractures related to pickleball have increased 200% over the last 20 years. The data was presented at an annual meeting of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons this week. According to Pickleball USA, the sport is the fastest growing sport in the U.S., with the number of players rising from 4.8 million in 2021 to 8.9 million in 2023. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was apologizing to relatives over a Super Bowl advert created by a group supporting his presidential bid. Mr. Kennedy, an anti-vaccine activist, is running for president in the Independent Party. The commercial aired right before the halftime show and showed images of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his wife. A relative said, "My cousin's Super Bowl ad used our uncle's faces and my mother's. She would be appalled by his deadly healthcare views." RFK claims that he didn't know what the content being aired would look like. In response, RFK Jr. posted, "I am so sorry if the Super Bowl advertisement caused anyone in my family pain. The ad was created and aired by the American Values Super PAC without any involvement or approval from my campaign."
McDonald's slogan is "I'm loving it," but these customers are not loving these increased prices. Stay tuned to find out why.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Fans of McDonald's burgers and fries are not currently loving it. McDonald's, which has been long known for their cost-effective prices, has been criticized online after Connecticut's location Big Mac meal rose to $18. The past 3 years of inflation have had considerable effects on McDonald's customers, many of whom have started to cook at home with more affordable groceries as opposed to eating out.
President Joe Biden warns House Republicans that their inaction regarding foreign aid is playing directly into Vladimir Putin's hands at a press release on Monday. This comes after a $95.3 billion aid package meant to support Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan passed the Senate and reached the House of Representatives. But division among the GOP about America's role abroad leave the future of the package in uncertain hands.
The ideal American Girl doll is coming to the happiest place on earth and local store shelves soon, thanks to a brand new collaboration between the Disney Corporation and the makers of the iconic doll. Disney princesses Ariel, Tiana, and Cinderella were unveiled to the public on Wednesday's episode of Good Morning America. This comes after princesses Jasmine, Belle, and Rapunzel were released last summer. Fans of the dolls or Disney will have to pay up to $300 to bring a member of the Magic Kingdom family home with them. According to the American College of Cardiology, salt substitutes can significantly lower the risk of high blood pressure. A study analyzed the effects of swapping pure salt for salty alternatives on subjects ages 55 and up. It was found that those who cut back on the seasoning saw improved blood pressure over the span of 2 years.
And now let's check out sports with Isaac.
Thank you, Abigail. Things were firing on all cylinders for the Detroit Pistons' Isaiah Stewart yesterday morning as he was arrested for punching 27-year-old Drew Eubanks, the power forward for the Phoenix Suns, outside of the Footprint Center parking lot in Phoenix before the Pistons' 16-point loss to the Suns that night. The men were separated by security before Stewart was arrested, issued a citation, and released. The altercation comes months after Stewart and Eubanks were seen verbally sparring one another at a game back in November. The NBA has not yet released a statement on the altercation. Eubanks was able to finish the game with 6 points and 8 rebounds. On Wednesday morning, just 3 days after their loss at Super Bowl 58, San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan announced that Steve Wilks, the team's defensive coordinator for the past season, would be relieved of his duties. This comes after Wilks led the 49ers to being only 9th in defensive expected points added, whereas they were 3rd in points allowed for the season. This leads to the Niners searching for their 3rd defensive coordinator in the past 3 seasons, a trend they can hopefully put an end to. In college basketball news, fans of Iowa Hawkeyes player Caitlin Clark will have to pay a premium in order to see her potentially break the NCAA's women's career scoring record tonight at 8 p.m. Tickets rose to an unprecedented $394 on TickPick, a secondary market ticket platform. The nearly $400 price tag is trending to be the most expensive ever for a women's college basketball game. Clark only needs to score an additional 8 points to pass Kelsey Plum's current record of 3,527 career points.
After the break, we have Silent with the weather.
Got a quarter?
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Earlier tonight, Allison sat down with journalist Brajan Williams, who gave us an inside look at the sports news and what news fans have to look forward to for the rest of the year.
Good evening. Welcome to the special report. I am joined today by sports journalist Brajan Williams. Thank you so much for joining us, Brajan.
I'm glad to be here. This is fun.
Awesome. So I know you're a journalist. What stands out to you most about sports that you want that to be your focus?
So my grandfather, when we were younger, I used to watch NFL Red Zone all the time. It was the Sunday thing, the Sunday move, always. We always watched it. It was just like a football. We had a football area in our house, so like it was just like that's football central. So it was like kind of like the thing. It was like we called it the no woman zone because it was just football all the time. But it just started with football, and then I began to play basketball, and I loved it, and basketball has always been my favorite sport to play. And then I just kind of expanded it, and then I just love writing, so I tied them together, and it just was beautiful for me because I love writing in sports, and yeah.
That's awesome. I see you have a Patriots jacket
Yeah,
on.
I
Does
do.
that mean you are a Patriots fan?
Oh, for sure. Die hard all day.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Have you always been a Patriots fan?
Always. It's just my whole family, they're all Packers fans. My grandfather is actually kind of like a partial owner of the Packers, but I was just wanted to be different. I kind of just picked because of the colors. It was first because of the colors, and then I had my second grade friend Ruben. He kind of got me. He helped me get more interested in football. At first, I was just watching it for just my grandfather. Now it was more just like he was also a Patriots fan, and it was just like we kind of clicked, and our friendship started with that.
That's awesome. And as a sports fan, I'm sure you caught this weekend's game, the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the 49ers. What were your thoughts? What was going through your head when you saw that game?
So from the beginning, I was always like, Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs are going to win. As you know, a Patriots fan, we went through the dynasty. So I know how it works. Everybody is going to be a hater, going to be like, oh, yeah, the Chiefs, I want the 49ers to win, I want the 49ers to win. And I understand, I get it, but it's called a dynasty for a reason. So they're going to do it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they three-peat. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely. And how do you feel, I have to ask, how do you feel about the Taylor Swift coverage throughout the last season of football?
So I have no quarrel with Taylor Swift. It's me and Taylor Swift is just like, I see her everywhere, so I don't have a problem with her. It's just that it's everywhere, and it's just everywhere in my life. So it's like, all right, guys, like I just need a little break from Taylor Swift, but she's everywhere. The NFL season's over, so I think it should die down a little bit. But I have no problem with her. She makes good music, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Would you say that maybe it took away from the actual football in the season at all?
No, definitely not. I think it added to it. I loved how more people were watching football. As the Super Bowl, I think, was the most watched, most TVs watched, and I was like, wow, that's fantastic. And it's all the Swifties. I appreciate you Swifties, by the way. You guys are great.
Absolutely. And what are just a few more things that sports fans have to look forward to for the rest of the year?
Well, this weekend we have the All-Star Game. The All-Star Game, we have the three-point contest. They added a new part with Sabrina Ionescu and Stephen Curry doing head-to-head three-point contest. So I'd say those are the two things I would look for. Also, Jaime Jaquez on the Miami Heat. He's going to be in the dunk contest, so be ready for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Brajan.
Oh, of course. I love being here. It was fun.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
A new TikTok sensation has hit the screen. 2-year-old Lucas Cankle was filmed as he enthusiastically enjoyed a basketball game. The little sports fan can be seen focusing intently on the court. The video has collected more than 580,000 views. He has officially been dubbed the tiniest basketball player.
Let's check in with Silent to see what's going on with the weather for this coming week. Apparently, there may be a chance for snow.
I'm Silent Michaels with this week's weather rundown. Tonight, it's a high of 43 with a low of 23, and it's partly cloudy out with a bit of a chill. Tomorrow, it'll be sunny out with a high of 44 and a low of 32. Saturday, there's a chance of snow with a high of 40 and a low of 27. It'll be cloudy on Sunday with a high of 43 and a low of 24. And on Monday, it'll be sunny with a high of 46 and a low of 29. And on Tuesday, it'll be cloudy with a high of 48 and a low of 25. Now back to the weather window. As you can see here, there is nobody out on the green due to the colder temperatures outside at Rowan. And coming up, we're going to see it's very cloudy on this side of the sky, but on the opposite side, it was bright and blue. Very interesting today. Strange weather, but not too bad anyhow. Yeah, so that's it for today on the weather. Now, how are we doing today, ladies? Happy late Valentine's Day.
Happy late Valentine's Day. I couldn't believe how the weather just switched. It felt like spring yesterday.
It snowed last Tuesday, and now it's gonna snow on Saturday.
I'm losing
track. What is
track.
happening in South Jersey?
I'm losing track, Silent. I'm losing track. Yeah. But that wraps up tonight's newscast.
Thank you for joining us. Good night.